Hi, welcome to ECHL Week Presents. I'm Barry Schickling. It looks as if history may be repeating itself. Let's take a look at some highlights from the first 3 games of the Kelly Cup Finals. Since the script worked so well for the Florida Everblades in 2022, they're trying to do it again. You might recall that Florida won the first 2 games of the Kelly Cup Finals last year in Toledo prior to winning its second ECHL crown. This year the setting was different, Boise, Idaho, but the result was the same, a pair of Florida victories. And that great start has put the Everblades in a very good position to become the first team since Colorado in 2018 to win consecutive Kelly Cups. The opening game of the ECHL's championship series was a battle. The Everblades were being outshot when they took a pair of penalties in a span of 14 seconds in the first period. Dawson Bartow's resulting goal, with the Steelheads enjoying a 2-man advantage, gave the Idaho fans plenty to cheer about. However, Florida shifted the momentum and shot advantage in the second period and tied the game midway through on this Cole Moberg goal. Play in the third period found a bit more equilibrium until Ryan Domowski gave the Steelies their second lead. But a delay of game penalty 4 minutes later gave Florida its second and final power play of the match. Blake Winicki took advantage, and for just the 7th time in ECHL Finals history, an extra period was required for Game 1. John McCarron found Oliver Chow with some space in the deep slot, and the Everblades secured a victory in the opener. Game 2 was a bit more wide open, much to the delight of the sellout crowd of 5,100 at Idaho Central Arena. That was especially the case when Matt Register opened the scoring with this blue line blast for his first goal of the playoff season. But in the dying seconds of a penalty and the first period, Florida tied the game on a slapper in a similar spot as Register's by Ashton Calder. The second period turned the game, and the Everblade who did the turning was Logan Lambden. In the first minute, he drilled a face-off win into the net to put Florida ahead to stay. In the final minute, his breakaway built the margin to a pair. The third period featured Levko Koper's backhand-forehand, which put Florida in control for about 2 minutes. That's when the Steelheads stormed back into the game by scoring a pair in 21 seconds. First, it was Justin Miziak on the power play from in close. Shortly thereafter, Ty Pelton-Bice capitalized after teammate Willie Neerham's takeaway. Idaho generated pressure in the final few minutes, but Captain Ben Masella's goal into an unguarded net sealed Game 2 for the visitors. Considering the Blades' 2-0 advantage, with the series shifting to Estero, Florida, Idaho faced a near must-win in Game 3. And despite a fine defensive effort, the Steelheads fell short. Late in the second period, this goal by Florida's Will Calverley was the only score of the game, as the Everblades took a 3-0 series lead. Another notable effort in Game 3 was by Blades goalie Cam Johnson, who earned his 4th shutout of this playoff season. Johnson, in just 2 years, is now tied for the most ECHL postseason shutouts. Only twice has a team rallied to win an ECHL playoff series after being down 3-0, but it's never happened in the finals. Idaho certainly has a steep hill to climb, and perhaps most importantly, Florida is playing its best hockey of the season at just the right time. Of course, in addition to the Kelly Cup Finals still taking place, there are other things going on in the ECHL. Let's get our news segment started by looking at the 23-24 regular season schedule. Fans of the 26 teams which are not participating in the Kelly Cup Finals are no doubt eagerly awaiting the weekend of October 19th through the 22nd. That's when the ECHL's 36th regular season is scheduled to begin. Opening night is Thursday the 19th when Florida visits South Division rival Orlando. 24 games over the next 3 days will have all teams getting their first taste of action. Kelly Cup finalist Idaho will start its season at home against Allen on Friday, October 20th. In all, 19 teams will open their home schedules that first weekend. The final 9 teams will debut in front of their local fans from October 25th through November 4th. On Saturday, October 21st, all 28 teams will be in action. That'll be the first of 16 such nights during the course of the season. Among the uncommon matchups on the 1,008-game schedule, Eastern teams making their initial visits to Western clubs include Adirondack at Allen, Jacksonville at Cincinnati, Worcester at Fort Wayne, Newfoundland at Idaho, and Savannah at Rapid City. Also, the Ghost Pirates will host Trois-Rivières for the first time. Some of the first-time Western opponents debuting in Eastern Conference arenas will include Idaho at both Trois-Rivières and Newfoundland, Kansas City at both Maine and Worcester, as well as Utah, Indy, and Kalamazoo on the Rock to play the Growlers. The annual All-Star event will be hosted in January by Savannah. The Fort Wayne Komets have announced they won't renew the contract of head coach Ben Boudreau. He had spent the last 6 years on the team's coaching staff, including the last 4 as the head coach. Of course, he led the team to the Kelly Cup title 2 years ago. In the last 2 seasons, Fort Wayne was eliminated during the first round of the Kelly Cup playoffs. And the splashiest off-season news so far has come from Atlanta, where the Gladiators are making 2 major changes. First, starting next season, the Glads will feature new affiliations with the NHL's Nashville Predators and the American Hockey League's Milwaukee Admirals. Atlanta will be the 7th ECHL team to have a player development agreement with Nashville since the Preds started play in 1998. Gladiators' deal with the Arizona Coyotes and Tucson Roadrunners lasted 1 season. Nashville had no ECHL partner in 22-23. Atlanta's other big move is behind the bench. Longtime player Derek Nesbitt has been named head coach. Former coach Jeff Pyle has been promoted to director of hockey operations. Nesbitt spent last season as the team's assistant coach. Atlanta's all-time leader in games played, goals, assists, and points, he spent 5 seasons as the team's captain. His North American pro career lasted 987 games, and he was a member of the Kelly Cup champion Idaho Steelheads in 2007. Pyle departs the bench, sitting number 2 in both coaching games and wins in the all-time ECHL standings. That concludes this edition of ECHL Week Presents. Make sure to join us next time as we put a wrap on the 22-23 ECHL season and talk with members of the Kelly Cup Championship team. See you then.